Hello, everyone. My name is Faith Gunderson, and I'm the marketing coordinator here at Shea Fritz and Dean. And this is Doug Dean.
Yes, hi. I'm owner and managing partner at Shea Fritz and Dean. One thing that we are proud of at our firm is that we always try to find ways to give back to the real estate agent community that we serve. And one way we do that is by sponsoring events like this, where we find speakers that we think are going to have great content valuable to you as a real estate agent. And it's just one of the ways we try to find a way to add value to the real estate agent community that we serve. Go ahead, Faith.
So we want to welcome you back to our Business Builder series. We know you're all busy, so we thank you for being here and we appreciate you giving us your time. And to make the most of your time, we encourage you to participate and ask questions by utilizing the chat box. Before I get started and introduce this month's speaker, I want to let you all know about next month's Business Builder. It will be on November 17th at 1 p.m. And we will be having two financial advisors from the Piedmont Group, Parth Vakil and Wyatt Alexander. And they will be addressing a summary of proposed tax law changes under the new administration and strategies to mitigate the implications of these changes. So very important information that they will be offering you all. And so without further ado, welcome Anisa and Casey Darnell, founders of Truth & Co. Interior Design, a high-end interior design firm. We're so happy you're here, so take it away.
Well, I'm Anisa Darnell. This is my husband, Casey Darnell. We're so honored to be here and virtually meet you guys. Thank you for having us.
Did we cover the part where we said our names?
Yes, we did.
Awesome. Yeah, so we are a team of about 14 designers and such that are doing new builds and home renos, and then as well have a service for virtual design that a lot of real estate friends have used, and it's more of a pared down version. Here's a bunch of things we can give you quick answers to help people make quick decisions, which is what we all like. So yeah, that's who we are. And then right here, this is our family. A few pictures of our kids. We've been married 17 years. My wife Anisa is Canadian.
Yes, I am.
Used to be Canadian. You're now halvesies.
Now I'm halvesies. I love America. Yes, we have 4 daughters: Ava, 14, Rosa, 9, Eleanor, 7, and Adeline, 4. And our girls are, I would say it's kind of a family affair with our business. Our girls are very wanting to be involved as much as possible. Even when I'm making selections for homeowners, they have an input, which is very sweet. But we love what we do. We're very hands-on, and
yeah, that's our family. So well, we're just going to jump right through. This is going to be awesome.
Yes.
Any questions about that? Then, sorry, I put my thumb over the screen. You can tell a little bit about yourself, how Truth & Co. came to be.
So I fell in love with interior design when I was 4 years old. I came on a trip from down to Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm from Toronto, and went to Street of Dreams, which is in St. Ives Country Club, and just all my eyes were open to the world of interior design. So there's a picture of me behind the velvet rope, and just knew from a very young age that I wanted to be in design at some level. So 17 years old, I actually got my first job, and while we were dating, we used to go, our dates were always going down in Buckhead and driving around, going into homes on West Paces Ferry.
Anyone ever done that where you go through a house and the gate's delayed, and so you go ahead and pull in real fast so you can see the houses?
We've never done that.
You're technically not. So we did that a lot on West Paces Ferry. We would daydream, look at houses, talk about floor plans. What would you do differently? This is actually a picture of us up there to the right when we were much younger, working on a renovation project and dreaming about doing what we're doing.
Yes. So my dad used to do renos in that area, Moore's Mill and West Paces. And so we would come and do some manual labor. So definitely had that kind of in my roots. We also got the opportunity to do just a little stint on HGTV, and we've got to be featured in several magazines, and it's great credibility, but I would say our biggest thing that we're about is referrals. And then I used to be partners in an interior design firm called Milk and Honey Home for 5 years, and kind of parted ways.
Had a new dream. We wanted to do our own thing and parted ways there. Just kind of, you all have been a part of that, where it's like, I think my dreams are pulling me this way and yours are going that way. So that was kind of something that brought us back. I was touring, doing music full time, used to travel and do all sorts of fun stuff with that, and just felt like that was coming to an end, and kind of picked back up this dream from many, many years ago. And hey, what would it look like if we joined forces and tried to do this together? Which seems real dreamy and awesome until you run into some speed bumps bringing work home all the time. As you saw the photo of our kids, I know you've all dealt with that, where home and work collide. You can try to separate your calendars, but really they just overlap. These things are all together. When the phone rings, you feel like you got to answer it, but you're trying to listen to your kid tell you about how their day was. So we began to go into the venture of Truth & Co. and what we were doing. Truth & Co. was really going to just be like a branding company, t-shirts, something fun. And then it ended up being the home for what we were doing. So that's what we started 5 years ago. And since then, our office is in Canton Street in Roswell. We've had a couple of different offices, but like we said, there's a bunch of team members that we have doing projects down in Alice Beach, Florida, different parts of Florida, Rosemary or wherever, to virtual design clients that we have all over the country. We've dropped in on some people that were doing something really big and just needed some second opinions and confidence for their decision making. And that's what virtual design does. And then to massive projects here in the Atlanta neighboring areas is what we're kind of doing these days. So we thought it'd be helpful to share some lessons that we've learned. And there's a lot of these. I tried to pare these down with you and our team. Yeah. And so we're just diving right through. These are some images of us. These are all our ladies up there working together. A lot of what I think there's some things that make us unique, but we have a few slogans. And one of them is design that draws you in, and customer service that makes you tell your friends. If you do your job right, you don't have to worry about marketing so much. If you take care of somebody, they will talk about you. And so we want to draw people in with excellence and beauty and all that fun stuff. But then the part that we found that kept them, and I'll tell clients, I want to be able to high five you when I see you out in the marketplace, and it not be like, oh crap, here they come, they don't like me. We want to have integrity, we want to take care of people. So lessons learned with starting our company, pain was the pathway. We read a bunch of entrepreneurial books. She was mentored by a friend, business leader, and we thought maybe we'll skip a few of these things.
Yeah, I thought I would.
But you don't.
You don't. You go straight through them.
They punch you in the face. And so we learned some painful lessons with hiring. We learned some lessons with our marketing, with how much burns you out, and then what's a healthy way to navigate forward. You've all learned those, but that's something that we learned, and we still are learning as every season of growing, learning what our yes is and learning what our no is, and then trying to stick to it and trusting our team that we empower to help us with those decisions. When a girl on our team named Taylor, our operations director, is telling me she thinks it's a no, I don't want to just say, no, I'm the boss and this is what we're going to do. Letting them actually lead us, because we've trained them to do that. So those are a lot of things we've come to. I said put horse blinders on.
That's a big one for me. I would say I can look to the left and to the right and see how far people are succeeding or how far along. Well, we're 5 years in. I mean, we've been doing interior design for a long time, but Truth & Co. was 5 years old. I'm thinking we should be here, and kind of doing my own metrics of what our version of success should be. And it looks different for everyone. And so I've just realized I'm going to read books, I'm going to learn, listen to podcasts, and mingle with people, but we are on our own trajectory. And if I focus on left and right, then I'll be just copying what other people are doing. So I feel like that's what's unique to our team, is that we just hone in what is our own gifting and how we can serve clients and better ourselves. And
so the phrase "put horse blinders on," I saw this. Is anybody, you've watched horse races, right? I remember asking my dad, what are those things on the side of their faces? And it's like, well, you put those up there so that you actually run faster. The horse will run a faster race when he's not looking left and right because he's sizing himself up. Every industry does this. And you might have like, okay, I got 5 steps. I got energy for 5 steps to take today. I can either move forward 5, or I can look left and right a few times and size myself up, see what my competitors are doing and let that trouble me. And maybe I need to do what they're doing. You end up running a slower race. You guys all know this. And so we kind of learned, and we're going to get to this next slide, our last slide, of the white noise. Every industry has, what is the white noise of what you do? Everyone's saying it. How do you stand out? How do you set apart? Well, you've got to get comfortable with not competing. You won't win. And running your best race. So next, we put exercising integrity muscle. This was important for us. When you have the opportunity to cut a corner, or maybe no one would know, or hey, you know, it's fine. Do you have integrity? And that's something that requires exercising. And we found that served us best. And I think a lot of people advertise integrity, but they would say, oh, we do what we say we're going to do. But you find out that's actually really, really rare. So that was our next one.
I would say too that for me, it's having those courageous conversations. Sometimes it can draw out the process. If you're like, hey, we caught this, or hey, this wasn't done correctly, or having to talk to a client and be like, hey, we need to let you go. This isn't working out. People respect you for that. And so I feel like through and through our business, behind the doors, we try to have the utmost integrity.
And then just other success equals your success. A lot of times we all lean into what was going to help us. You have a better time enjoying. This is a big lesson. We are successful when our team feels successful. And when everybody's loving what we're a part of and what we're doing, our clients are the ones who benefit from it. So trying to tag our success. Well, when we're doing well, it's because our clients are doing well. And again, the happiest clients we've had tell all their friends about us. And we're like, man, we're doing great because we're making our clients feel successful. A guy named Darnell Miller has a company called Story Brand. You may have heard of Darnell Miller, but his whole thing is be the hero. The client is the hero. You're the guide. Mm-hmm. And we love that. Trying to make ourselves the guide. They're the hero. We're just here to guide you to that. Transparency and vulnerability matter. We've taken a stance with our team that we like to invite them in and let them know what's going on. We don't shield them, and there's different versions of this, but for us, hey, we're going through something. How are you guys doing? We check in every Monday and want to find out how their world is. How's your husband's job? How are other things happening? Because those are reflected, and it makes us more sensitive. We're trying to build a healthy culture. So that's been big. What do you think about it?
Yeah. No, I think too, just we tell each other we keep short accounts. So if you mess up, quickly own it and we move on. We don't drag each other or ourselves through the mud. We just move on quickly. And I think transparency has been huge with our team and even clients, because I think it builds trust. And people don't want to feel like you're rubbing up next to perfection. Yeah. So
I think I say it's a lesson learned, because I think we felt in the beginning we needed to have this persona that we've got our crap together all the time and we don't make mistakes. And it's just not true. I just got back from Israel. I went to another country for 9 days. And so yesterday my world was unraveling a little bit, and I was just having a hard time. I was late to a meeting that 2 girls on our team had put together for Anisa and I. I was 7 minutes late or 30 minutes late. And I felt it was important to lead up and let them know after that meeting was over, hey, I messed up. Just so y'all know, I want to apologize. I did not respect your time. And it wasn't because I didn't have excuses. Those are many. I had a lot of kids, a lot of things happening. But they're also lame excuses. The reality is you worked hard on something and I didn't show you the respect of being on time. So please forgive me for that. That was my mistake. I will do better in the future. And I just did it because I felt like I was supposed to. But I think in hindsight, as we're talking about this, that's actually setting the table for them to do the same. We want them to respect each other's time, so you have to lead up on that. So we put team approach over rock star mentality. We're Truth & Co. We're not Anisa Darnell Designs and Casey Helps. We're not AnisaDarnell.com. There's nothing wrong with that. There's lots of designers out there. We really wanted to stamp the integrity compass on what we do, but that's also our kid's middle name. It's basically it's kind of like integrity matters, and this is the compass that we lean into with design. We don't want to cut corners. We want to honor our clients, but then we want to remember that at the end of the day, we're not successful if our family is losing. So this is it was kind of a compass company for us. And then for our team approach, we honor our girls, man. We let our designers lead out, and Anisa stands back. We hand them things, we give them opportunities to grow, and then we share in those successes. And we're not looking at them as just the lettuce on the hamburger of our meal. Like, oh, you get to be on the plate, congratulations. And we honor ourselves. That's true of our cutthroat design culture at times. It's all about the designer. So we aimed away from that. And I think
we always try to kind of pause and celebrate the wins, no matter how big or small. If it's a huge presentation, or it could just be a client sending a thoughtful email, or, hey, I love that. I mean, it's, we are building trust with every exchange with a client, but some are harder than others. So we pause to celebrate all of those. And the team approach has been huge, because when one person wins, the whole team wins. And we don't really have any rock stars. We all celebrate each other.
So I say rock star mentality. I don't mean that in a negative way. You guys are rock stars, you're agents, and you don't get enough credit. A lot of people want to go to, no offense to iBuyers and different things, but it's like, hey, I want to find a cheaper way to do this. And it's so easy to belittle and devalue what someone does. And so the tendency is to try to elevate. No, I'm this much more important than you realize I am. You need me. And that's true. They do need you. And we gave up that fight years ago. So we've decided it's better to elevate the people that it takes to accomplish what you want to do. When you come at somebody and like, oh, I can crush this for you. Well, a lot of times subconsciously, I think somebody thinks, oh, I can do this. They can do this. I can do this. It's like, no, actually, it requires a team of people to do this. Can I tell you how many transactional moments and people and touch points are going to happen to get you across the finish line? You don't want to do this by yourself. That would be a great mistake. And we use, we cushion that, but we like that team approach. It takes a team to sell your house, to design your house, to build your house. We are not rock stars. We make mistakes. So we need each other. So that's a little bit of us. And then this last one, I said, breaking through the white noise. What makes you unique? We've got a few things we think that make us unique, without throwing anybody under the bus. It's like, these are things that we have found are kind of not true of our culture. And we thought, well, why don't we lean into those? Why don't we be a different? If you're looking at Instagram and you're just swiping through, how do you stand out from that? I do not understand why that's happening. It's just weird that that's happening. And then I said, more than a fridge magnet calendar. No offense. Most everybody here we got a lot of real estate agents. Is that correct? It just disappeared again. I'm so
That's
sorry.
right.
I'm going to break this computer and get off. More than a fridge magnet calendar. I don't mean that negatively, but I'll just stop sharing and we'll shoot from the hip here. If you can look that up on there.
Absolutely.
We would get these gifts, and I was just thinking, our refrigerator doesn't even have the magnetic ability anymore. And we would, you get these gifts, and I was telling a friend of mine, man, what if you leveled that up and did something totally off the grid? Like, what if you aimed for something different and I think everybody's trying to think of those things. And I was telling them, like, well, we got this virtual service. You should use it. You should give that to a client. And that was kind of the idea. An example of that would be what we just gave a client. We did something fun.
Yeah, we have clients that love going to Montana. And so we got them a trip to, a gift card to the spa and fly fishing. So it was like something that they could create a moment as a family instead of just a bunch of stuff. We love creating environments to make memories in, but we also like creating moments for people. So instead of just buying them a really cool piece for their house, it was like, okay, this is actually going to be a really awesome moment and memory for their family in Montana.
Yeah, it's active listening, actually listening. A client's sharing something with you, and then when you listened and you did something, they're like, you were paying attention to that. And it supports the idea that you actually really do care. And then what's funny is maybe you don't care, you just bought the gift. When you become that kind of a person, you start enjoying what you do more. The quality of your life goes up, and you're helping people. And I think we're made for that. That's something we really believe core of our company, where work is an excuse for relationships, not the other way around. We don't like to use people for our own personal gain. How can we encourage other people? How can we be talking about people in a positive way? And then listening to a client and finding a way to surprise them. Man, I don't even have to ask them to refer me. They're referring us already. So, and then we just said details and follow through. Do what you say.
Wow. It's amazing if you just do what you say. I feel like in our industry, we work with trades all day, builders all day. And if you just do what you say, you already get it. If you just follow through, if you say, hey, I'll send you that email, or hey, you can expect this, tomorrow, or just do it. It's amazing.
I mean, I don't know about your industry. I know ours, but it's, no one wakes up in the morning and says, hey, I think I'll disappoint someone today. I'm going to tell them I'm going to do something and then not do it. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
But yet that's what's continually happening. And it's baffling to us. Maybe that's the integrity compass part, but it's just like, oh yeah, 2 weeks. Y'all heard this before, 2 weeks when you're doing a project. Or I'll get to that. And you don't want to let somebody down, but then if you aren't careful, you become a person who's not known for their word. And we've been on the receiving of this so many times. Mm-hmm. I went off on Instagram recently. A friend of mine, Denny's on here, and I'll occasionally be sitting in the grocery parking lot, probably too long, thinking about my life and if I bought the right kind of milk or not. And I just get irked by something. And so I was going off. I was like, you know what? If you want to get a raise, if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for a pay increase or a promotion, if this is you're like, yes, me, that's me. I want to tell you the way. You ready? Here it is. And I just laid it out pretty detailed. Just do what you say you're going to do and watch what happens to your reputation. It'll be like wildfire. It'll spread across the country. Here's a guy who does what he says. He says it and then he does it. Wow. And it'll blow people's minds. And it seems so goofy, but you've all been at your house waiting for somebody. And they said they'd be there from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They gave you a pretty 8-hour window. And when do they all show up? Let's all say it together. 5:30 p.m. Or tomorrow. They never showed up. And it creates distrust. If you just become a person who says, I said I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, even if it inconvenienced me. It's becoming so rare now. I think it's like a diamond. It just glows.
Well, I say COVID, we're experiencing major delays in our industry, which makes us always the bearer of bad news. We say, don't shoot the messenger. And, our team members are having to call a client and say, hey, your sofa got pushed back again, even though we margined 4 extra months for that sofa where we should be able to get one. We're just having to be the bearer of bad news. But it's been frustrating, but then I also feel like some people have taken advantage of that, and just copying it off as, hey, COVID. I'm like, or, in the trade industry.
I was in traffic today, COVID.
I just feel like we just gotta just own up for what's happening. There are real delays, and then we just gotta do what we say we're gonna do.
Yeah, that's kind of our deal. I think, to give you the unique part, we are handling massive budgets for clients, and there's a lot of stewarding that goes on. And we've known some very talented designers, but the organizational part behind the scenes starts to kind of fall apart. You've often said this. I don't care if anybody can say, look what we're going to do. Can you execute on it? Because if you can't, you're a painter with no real paintbrush. So we like to handle that for a client and do it in a way that reduces time and stress. So it's like Truth & Co. Interior Design, helping you make confident design decisions, saving you stress and time. And it's just kind of that, like, here's what we do for you, and here's what we save you from, and then here's the beautiful product. And so we're excited that we're getting to do from renovations. We have virtual design, like I mentioned, going on in other parts of the country or here and locally. We've had people using it to flip houses. They just need a few opinions real quick and they don't want to get it wrong. It's a small investment for a few $100 to get a bunch of quick answers that you needed. But then also 15,000 square foot homes, and we're handling the design. We've helped design floor plans and then work with builders. We work with architects. We're in the process of becoming an architecture and design firm. But all of it in an effort to streamline decisions for a client, because when they walk through it, and you reduced a lot of stress and they feel like they appreciate you,
Mhm.
that's how we get to continue eating and living indoors in 2022. So that's what we love doing. I'm trying to think of anything else.
No,
We zipping through it.
I know we have zipped through this.
Yeah.
No, but I would say too, like we really, I think what makes us unique is that we're not trying to push our design on a client. I think in the design world, it's about getting in that magazine or putting that amazing chandelier in. And it's like, we really want to hear our clients. So we value their opinion. They just don't know how to articulate what their style is. And so if we can pull that out, I promise that we really do listen. And then when we get to have that, HGTV moment, that doesn't happen in 30 minutes. Most of our projects, I would say, are 2 years. Some are 3, some are 18 months, but new builds take a long time. And so it's not a 30-minute, before and after, but there's no greater satisfaction to be like, hey, we met 2+ years ago, and now we're walking you into your space, and they say, I didn't know what my style is, but this is home, or you got us, or I cannot believe my family is gonna be here, and this is where we get to make our memories or raise our kids in. And that is the greatest joy. It's addictive for us. That's why we do it. The amount of clients that we've got to walk through the process with, it's been very, very rewarding. So that's why.
It takes a little longer than an hour to renovate a house. I know that they make that look easy on TV.
You can't buy a house and here for $40,000.
Waco prices are not Atlanta prices. That's been difficult. We don't understand. They just did a $115,000 entire home renovation on HGTV. How come y'all can't do it? Well, because we're not in Waco. But
this is not television.
Yeah. So that's a few things about us that we've learned, and hopefully that was somewhat helpful.
Yes. Thank y'all for bearing with us through all the technical difficulties.
Yes.
No problem. This is Doug. Thanks for being with us today. One of the neat things about what you do is that it is so personalized. You have to understand what your client wants, but also be able to give them what they want, not what they think they want. What's the best advice you could give agents for trying to help their sellers to get their house ready, and some quick tips that you could give sellers or give agents to help their sellers make a house presentable when they're trying to get it ready for a listing?
Gosh, that's a great question. I would say, declutter. These are probably all going to be things you all already know. Declutter, light and bright. It can even be like painted dark, but well-lit spaces. I would make sure that there is ambient lighting. We love to make sure that we've got different kinds of lighting going on in a home. So like turning on table lamps. Also smell, believe it or not, that's one of those 5 senses that, like, if it smells.
How many senses do we have?
But it's gotta smell good.
Can we actually, let's park on that one for a second. Let's put a pin in that one. Y'all probably know this already. Smell is arguably one of the strongest senses tied to memory.
Mm-hmm.
If you just help somebody clean their home and you said, look, you guys, I'm telling you, if it stinks, it tells the client something negative. They can't even put a finger on it for sure. It scares me that maybe there's something behind the walls. If a place is not all staged, but it smelled good, like the smell of cookies on, but not potpourri, like, oh, they just went and sprayed a bunch of potpourri before I walked in. Like, hey, you guys need to clean. If you just invested in making it smell nice, it's the first thing that catches you. And then, yes, have it well lit and fumigate that house. I think, when you come back from vacation and you haven't been in your own home for 8 days, it can have like a funk to it. And I think a lot of us are not aware of our own odors. And so that would be like probably one of your biggest tips, because you can do all this work to stage it and it smell bad and I don't want to be in here.
Yeah. So lighting, smell, I definitely think fresh paint. It goes such a long way. So like just paint the whole interior. Like baseboards look nasty. And like Casey said, if right away things don't look right, you kind of start thinking, well, what else has been neglected? Making sure it's clean. I mean, declutter, but then clean.
But what color should you paint it, Anisa?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I definitely feel like we're known for white, but we definitely do darker spaces. But my go-to white is Benjamin Moore White Dove. And then Sherwin-Williams Creamy is another great color.
Benjamin Moore, White Dove, write it down, and Sherwin-Williams Creamy.
Creamy.
We sell these answers, but we on our website we pull together all our favorites, like $50 or something. But it's like paint your house these colors in any of these rooms, and you're going to be more correct than not. Now, a lot of these are designed for different things, but these are our favorite tried and true, is what we call them, paint colors. And just make that as an asset. Hey, homeowner, you're going to sell your house. I bought this for you. Here it is. I want your house to smell good. Here's a candle. We actually sell candles because that's how important it is to us. Put this, we want to help you do this. And it's active. That's another active.
Sherwin-Williams Simply White is another go-to. And then Benjamin Moore Tapestry Beige. It definitely felt like the gray was something that we saw for a season, and now it's kind of going to warm beiges and kind of taupes, but making sure that a space is clean and bright, especially those surfaces. There's nothing like going into a kitchen and there's crumbs and stuff on, the stove. And then I think if certain appliances need to be replaced, and then also the personalization. We're coming in and trying to make the house more personal, but for selling, you kind of have to take away some of that. So a new buyer can come into the space and envision their family picture on the wall, not a stranger's.
You just gave me a great idea, Doug. I think we should do a little video, because real estate agents, everything we just said, you guys are like, cool, I've got that hammer and I do that all the time. You guys say that all the time. It might be cool to just say, hey, don't take my word for it. Here's some designers that just gave us some opinions towards this. And we could say, guys, if you're trying to sell your home, we have found in our industry and what we're doing, the things that people talk about, because we're not a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And so we just know when they're looking at houses and what we've experienced, your house stinks, fix it, paint it these colors, depersonalize. We could just say all that. You'd be like, look, it's not just an agent thing. This is like, whatever. That might be a cool idea.
One last thing I would say are fresh flowers, fresh greenery, anything like that. But furniture layout, it's crazy how wacky some people will lay out their furniture, and there's no traffic flow, and people need to envision the space like, okay, well, where are we going to put the sofa to view the TV, or where does the bed go? So maybe making sure like the furniture layout makes sense, and it can just be as simple as flipping a sofa and a chair, but you're like, oh my gosh, it's the same room, but it definitely works better. So furniture layout is super important. It's so important to us that when we kind of sit down with homeowners for the first time and we're kind of doing a rough sketch or bubble diagrams of their floor plan, before we even send it to the architect, we say, what do you want in your family room? And we literally will build the house around the family room and dimension it off of the sofa to the walkway. So our space we're sitting in right now, it was all dimensioned off of the furniture. So we kind of say sometimes we design from the inside out. It's that important.
Yep.
Just real quickly, I tried to jot down some of those paint colors to throw in the chat window. I got the Sherwin-Williams Simply White, Benjamin Moore Tapestry, was it?
Tapestry Beige.
Tapestry Beige. And what were a few of the others?
Benjamin Moore White Dove. And
Yes.
then Sherwin-Williams Creamy.
These are like, we call it our tried and true collection. They don't, as the pendulum of extremes kind of goes, these are some that are more in the middle. If they're safe bets, they're going to go really well with lots of options. They'll pair well. It's like a really good red wine. It could go with a couple of things as opposed to something extreme. You like that?
That's terrific. And your story about smell really hit home for me. About 3 years ago, my wife and I were selling the house we lived in for 25 years. And we completely renovated top to bottom, the first 2 floors, all new paint, carpet, lighting, plumbing, appliances, countertops, you name it. It was better than it was new 25 years ago. The one space we didn't do anything in was an unfinished basement. And our first few buyers, we thought it would sell in a heartbeat with all the work we'd done. And the first few buyers had no interest. And one of them said, the basement smells funny. It smells dank. And I thought, that's the way basements smell. I didn't think the basement smelled different than any other basement. But
Oh,
based on their comments, I set up a fan and a dehumidifier in the basement. I put them on a timer so I could basically hide them on a shelf in the basement. And from 9 at night till 9 in the morning, the fan would blow air around, the dehumidifier would pull out moisture. And the very next person to come in the house was the one that bought it. And I like to think it was doing a little something after everything we'd done on the top 2 floors, just setting a fan and dehumidifier to take a little smell out of the basement. I like to think that was what put it over the edge finally. And it
I would
cost
agree with
nothing.
you.
I had those. I had a fan and dehumidifier, and I thought that's what a basement smelled like. But that one change, our next person to walk through our house was our buyer.
I have memories tied to my aunt's house when I was a kid. It smelled so bad in the basement. It's the first thing that comes to mind when you say it. It's usually attached to some memory. Odor is everything. It's why people make a lot of money selling cologne and perfumes. But if it smells bad, it sends a negative message to them that maybe something's hiding, lurking, it hasn't been taken care of. Dirty house, something that's not. If you're telling a homeowner, look, if it's broken, there's something that's dirty, the homeowner pretty much thinks that you didn't take care of your home. First thing I'm going to ask is, how many years were they here? How long have they lived here? How long have they not treated this home with respect? And that's what I'm about to inherit. So, I think it's a way you're trying to sell your home quick. It smells nice. It makes somebody, I just felt better in that home. That stuff matters. So.
And you had mentioned carpet. That is a big, oh man.
Rip it out.
Sometimes, buyers can't see past stains in a carpet and just replace it. Even if it's cheap, just replace it. Because it's gross and it will probably smell.
I think I saw Jason mention about candles in here. We sold out of them because they smell so good, and they're really cool gifts. We're having them re-poured, and it's basically handmade pottery from Peru. A company called Montes Doggett. She was featured on Oprah after we ordered them, and now it's hard to get them. It's one of her favorite things, but they're great. They're reusable, dishwasher safe, but it's a candle, and we've had a lot of agents have used those just as hey, here's a candle. But it's actually got all these other fun things about it. So we'll let y'all know and drop that in there when those are available again, if that's something anybody would ever be interested in.
Question? I had a question in the chat window. I'm doing a renovation now. What are your thoughts on the quarter round molding in the kitchen against white cabinets? Should it be the color of the new hardwoods or change it to the white in the kitchen?
That's a great question.
It's a great question.
So typically we do all our shoe mold. We do it the same color as the trim. So I would say paint it the color of your cabinets, the white.
Thank you.
It'll make the cabinetry look more like a furniture piece and less like cabinetry that's going into the floor. Would you agree with that? Mm-hmm. Did I say that right? I get a promotion. Can we see the comments on here?
If you go to the chat window, they're all to everyone. So if you'll click on the chat button at the bottom, you can see them as well.
Hey, Doug, can you hear me?
Yeah, Danny, welcome.
Hey, I just wanted to take a quick minute to echo Casey's first statement about the importance of having a great team and selling the entire team and what it takes to pull off action, renovation, anything like that. And obviously, Shafritz and Dean is my go-to closing attorney. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a realtor, investor, and host of Real Estate Connections. And so, like you, Doug, Casey and Anisa are a really important part of my team. I love them both personally. Our families are very close and our kids are very close. But that aside, they're just phenomenal people. They do great work. Anisa and her eye for design is, one of the best in the business that I've ever met. And I know that they aren't perfect, as Casey said, but like you, Doug, they work really hard at delivering on a high, quality product and service, and they do a really good job of it. And I don't know, Casey and Anisa, if I told you this or not, but my wife's sister, my sister-in-law, when she was, her husband's a vet, so we used a VA renovation loan to purchase a house in Roswell. And so it was a 0 down loan, and they bought the house for $390, did a $60,000 renovation. And like many people, you know, they didn't see the value in investing in having like Casey and Anisa come in and, you know, manage the project and do all the design. But Casey, they were just Truth & Co was just launching their virtual design service. And so I highly recommended it because frankly, you don't want me telling you what color to put your cabinets. And while they gave you some really good, you know, suggestions, every space is different and every person's, you know, personality is different. And so I don't know how many hours they use, but I think 1 or 2 hours on a phone with some, you know, shared video like we're doing now. And Anisa helped Kelly and Chris put together the design along with their team for that project. And that was about 1.5 years ago. And we just sold that house for them for $610,000. They made 160 grand on a renovation in about a little over a year and a half. And I can tell you wholeheartedly, we set a record for the sales price in the neighborhood and a record for the price per foot. And the only reason we did that is because everyone that walked through the house looked at it and went like, holy shit, this is beautiful. There's nothing like it. And they absolutely fell in love. We had people fighting over it. And I can say that I attest, you know, of course it would have sold and they would have made money because it was nice, but the design was so on point that literally every person that walked in was in love with it. So
did we record that? Can we?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, thank you for mentioning it. We do our monthly business builder series. We do record them and post them on our YouTube channel. So everyone will receive a link in a week or so. Once we sort of edit it, clean it up, add our little music and our graphics, we'll send you a link to the YouTube video so you can share it and go back and rewatch it at any time.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. Well, Denny, I appreciate that. And it's super sweet of you. And I remember doing that.
Super kind.
We were like, man, people are gonna use this to flip houses, and they have, and it's been really great. And I love hearing just the thoughtfulness and care that you can take sends that message. We'll help you sell it. It is, Jason, I think is on here. He and I talked about it as a way, if you've got a client that's like, okay, this project, or they're trying to sell their house and they need to do some stuff, a $300 investment or so in making a bunch of right decisions can be thousands. And I think that that would be another way to level yourself up as an agent trying to break through some of the white noise of everybody, you know, there's a lot of real estate agents and people that it's basically like getting on Facebook and saying you're interested in essential oils. Everybody will tackle you. Or, hey, I'm looking at going to Disney World. All of a sudden, everybody you didn't even know works for TravelMation and wants to book your trip for you. There's also a lot of people trying to stand out in real estate, and you're trying to compete against their ability to just do it themselves. My dad recently wanted to sell his house, and I was like, Dad, please. He's like, well, I think I can do it online. Do not do it. No, don't do that, because that means I'm going to be doing it for free. I wanted him to get somebody to help him. And I think, you know, when you can elevate the value of what you do and having an approach, here's how we can help you, and all of these things, it shows that you care, you're thoughtful, and you're saying things that maybe they haven't heard before. So I'm really glad to hear that, Angelus. That's amazing.
And it's small world. It's great to find out that you know Denny. Denny's a good friend, or what we call an FOF, a friend of the firm, and neat that you guys have that connection. One of the things you mentioned about gift giving really struck out at me. We had a real estate agent who, Tracy at the front in Alpharetta, who works with me. She noticed that one agent, every time he would come to closing, would always grab a handful of these Dub chocolates, little miniature chocolates on her desk. So the next time he came by to drop off a check for earnest money, she had a little bag for him. He didn't know what was in it. He got home, and of course it was the Dub chocolates that he liked. he sent us an email and told us how much he appreciated that. He said, he said, every time I go, he said, I wonder how many chocolates I can get away with without looking bad. He said, and it's neat to know that you notice that's something that I like, and you went to the extra effort to just to do something for me. And you know, what's a bag of Dove chocolate? $3, $4, $5. It's not the, you know, as they say, it's not the money, it's the thought that counts.
Yeah,
it's very much the case there.
It's the rule, I think it's called the rule of the reciprocity rule. It's what they do at Costco. It's when I feel like I've been given something, I feel almost an obligation to keep using it. You ever taken a sample and you've been like, I don't need this jelly, but I just ate it off a cracker, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy the whole thing. They know a certain percentage of times you do this enough, people are going to feel, not, I hate to say obligation, but when this question comes up, they're gonna go to you because this is what they thought about. So that little investment can go a really long way, but it's active listening and not just waiting for your chance to sell yourself. And so, you know, and that's hard when you mentioned early on, you do have the answers and you're trying to steer your client towards what you know will make them happy. We deal with a lot of challenges with that. This is what they want. This is what they think they want. And there are times where we're like, it may not be our style preference, but, you know, okay, we just want to let you know this is something we demonstrate a lot of value with, something we've already thought about, and just wanted to keep you in mind. If you do this, this is what could happen. And it shows that we're also professionals in this industry and we've got your back. So anyway, you're smiling.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Any other questions?
I just have one. Casey, what was your musical style? Jason said Casey is a phenomenal singer.
Oh,
Thanks, Jason. Thank you. All styles. I sing all. I don't discriminate against music. I've sang for years, and I write a lot of songs. And now these days with 4 kids, I write a lot of kids songs. But stuff that's from fun pop music to songs that can be used at church to songs that other artists have used, country stuff, you name it. I got to tour around for a long time and do that. But I got tired of leaving my house and leaving my kids, and decided that's part of our story was, you know, I think I'd like to put this down and be home more and find a way to do this together. And so that was about as romantic as it got. And then after that, I was like, cool, let's do this. And then we signed some papers, and then it was like, this is hard. Because we got pregnant with our 4th. So it was crazy timing to start a new company. But yeah, so far we like it. We love that we are working really hard to create more seats at the table for designers out there that need a place to call home. And we're helping like save people, rescue them from
the land of hard design, cutthroat design world.
Yeah, it's we didn't know this. We just to let you know, it's easy to get caught up in what you do and making it about you and forgetting who the client is. And that's what we've had. A lot of clients have told us that. We've said a few things and they're like, really love that you said that, because, you know, we just dealt with somebody and I think they seem to forget that this was our house and not theirs. And it was like, wow, well, hey, we want you to win. And that's all it takes sometimes.
I'm going to throw it back out to the peanut gallery. Does anyone else have any other questions? Play Stump the Professor with Casey and Anisa.
Also, at the end of this, in the thank you email, I'll send out a link to their social media. I follow them on socials and they have great tips, you know, how to style your shelves or various things. And, you know, I'm sure they'll announce when their candles are back in stock and various stuff like that. So you'll be able to reach them through that.
Right, and we'll also let you know when the video of today's presentation is available. We'll send the link to everybody and post it on our YouTube site. I'll say, guys, it's really been nice to get to know you. I've really enjoyed your presentation and enjoyed getting to know you and meet you today. So thank you for being our guest today on our Business Builder speaker series. And we will go ahead, unless there are any other question. Do you have a one-time consult fee?
So we used to do just consultations, and we would just spin our wheels doing those all the time. And then when you start onboarding projects, it became difficult to do that. So through our inquiry, we kind of vet out what the project might be, what would be best, and if they should go to virtual design. And some people are unsure of that. This last year and a half, I think, has taught people this is actually very, very
You can do a
effective.
lot virtually.
We really can. And there's some examples on our website of virtual design. It shows a PDF that we give people and all the decisions and things like that.
Yeah.
But we do a consult fee where it's because they've already sent us all their details, and we're going to show up for a 2 or 3 hour meeting, and we're going to kind of start kicking off the project. As far as like
a one-time.
A cold call, hey, could you come to my house on next Tuesday? I have a project I want to do. We don't just show up and kind of absorb the details then, any more than I think anyone else would. It's like, could you send me some photos of your house? Can I get a little more information before I show up? At the same time, if somebody had a project that they were thinking of, and here's the details, and that they're good, we do occasionally make those consults available, because to get this opportunity would be a really great project, and people just want to talk. But what we typically do in place of that is we schedule a 30-minute phone call like this, where they meet us, the designer.
Yes, it's complimentary, just to kind of for each party to meet each other and vet it. And so unfortunately, we don't just do like a one-time consult. It's just too hard for us to plan. When we're scheduling, 6 months, a year in advance, we're not able to accommodate those, because we find when we have done that, then, you think it's a one-time consult, and then it becomes 2, then it becomes 10. And then before you know it, you've got this job that we really pride ourselves on taking good care of our customers. And if we can't forecast how the duration of a project, then we can't protect it. So we just actually have turned all those kind of one-time consults into virtual design, which is not like a cop-out at all. It's a very great service. Yeah,
it really is. We have contractors we prefer, trades guys we prefer. If somebody was ever about to sell a house and knew that they wanted to renovate, I think a level up for you to be like, hey, so I was listening to that, and I got a company that I highly recommend, and you should check them out. They'll do a 30-minute free call, just kind of hear some details, that kind of stuff. Here's a few things. I think that creates a value add for you. That gives us that opportunity as well. But yeah, there's lots of things in place of the traditional show up and do a consult that I think are just way more valuing of their time and ours as well.
Yeah.
Great question.
Well, that's terrific. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Loved having you on our program today. And at this point, if there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and close the presentation. Thank you again, and we look forward to catching you again soon. Take care and have a great day.
Thanks for having us. Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for being part of our program today. We've enjoyed having you as our guests. And as I'm always fond of saying, go out and make it a great day. Do your part, make it a great day. So have a good one. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.